On the comedy side, who do you like to watch? Like, who's your favorite people to watch on stage?
Right. I mean, there's so many.
Like the top two, where if you heard they were in town, you're like, oh, I got to go see him.
Bill Burr, always.
Love him.
Love him so much. Sarah Silverman. I mean, was one of my number ones, always. Rachel Feinstein. Jessica Kirson.
Oh, she's a beast.
Oh my God. Blow my brains out. Yeah. She's so funny. I remember the first time I saw her, she was at the Comedy Store. And I was sitting with a friend in the back watching her, and we were squirming, falling all over each other, laughing. Like, she's just, there's just no one like her.
No, okay, so I play Gotham in New York, and they do, Comedy Juice when it was a big thing. They did it in New York. And I was just flying in, so I was like, let me grab a set. They said, cool. And they put me on after Jessica Kirson. Oh, yeah. I've been on after Burr, Seinfeld, everybody. I didn't know, like, I've never seen her. And when I say she blew the fucking roof off, like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, she decimates.
Like, the place was left just in
speechless,
shambles.
yeah.
I go on, I've never had trouble.
Yeah.
Never had trouble. Like, it took me a good 3 minutes to get them to settle down from her set.
Yeah.
It was just, now this is when I was younger and didn't know how to reset the room as well. But I'm excited one day to go after her again. Yeah. Like, I want to go out to
ride that wave.
And ride the wave now, because now I would know how to do it.
Yeah.
But man, I've never, if you've ever been on stage and it's not going where you want it to go, you start getting hot on stage, like your body, like it was all of that.
Oh my God! By the way, just you describing that, I could feel it in my body.
Right? Yeah. You get hot. You get hot. So yeah, I love Jessica Kirson.
She is one of a kind. And then speaking of one of a kind, Rick Ingram at the Comedy Store. That dude, his crowd work is like nothing I have ever seen in my life. I follow him a lot at the store. And every single time I follow him, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And it makes you really step your game up as a comic, but he is there is no one who thinks faster than him.
Yeah, I love going after Beast. Because it really shows you where you are in your comedy career. I love it. That's why I love working at this club, is because everybody crushes here. And then when you go on and crush, it makes you feel even better. Oh, yeah. It's better than being on a normal lineup and then you're one of the highlights and you're like, but was I that good compared to these people? Last story before you get out of here, do you remember the first time you performed here at the Comedy Cellar, and how was that?
Oh, yeah. First time I performed here, I was recommended, Ian Edwards had recommended me to SD. Oh, the best. He's my favorite person. Ian had recommended me to SD because the club had just opened up and they were looking for West Coast comics.
Yep.
And he recommended me to her and she booked me. And I remember being like, oh my God, I'm doing the Cellar. And I remember being so nervous, and I probably did okay. But I remember getting off stage being like, I'm a Netflix special. Here I come. I was like, I made it at the Cellar. And I didn't like get past at the New York Cellar. And then eventually SD saw me perform here. And then SD was like, yeah, when you come to New York, call in.
Have you been to New York yet?
Yeah, I've been to New York. It's unreal.
How was your first time on stage up there?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unfucking real.
Yeah.
I remember I did a taping for This Week at the Cellar. And I remember I brought a friend and she was sitting in the back with the comics. And I remember getting off stage and I crushed so hard. And I'm not one of those people who's like, I'm murdered. Yeah. But like, I did really well. And she was like, there were comics in the back being like, who the fuck is this girl?
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh, cool. Fucking yeah. It's like, you want it. It's like, great. Yes. The audience loves you. Yes. Your fans love you. But it's another thing when like comics are like, oh, you're really funny.
Yeah.
It just feels great.
Yeah.